Hi, everybody. This is DearMamaSal, and welcome to yet another Coping with Feelings broadcast here from Southern British Columbia. I wanted to let you know that for all of you who are in the United States, I just wanted to wish you a very happy Memorial Day weekend. I hope you have a wonderful weekend and that things have hopefully lightened up for you enough that you can get to enjoy it, maybe even have some sort of a barbecue or something if the weather permits. I must admit, we have had some really difficult weather here this week. And as I will let you know about the 5K, yes, I did finish it. And yes, I've got my medal. I'll show you in a second. But, you know, the interesting thing was I made a decision to do it earlier in the week, even though I had up until the 31st to complete it, because I was worried about the weather. And as you will hear, I double backed myself on that one. So for those of you who don't know, DearMamaSal is a group of people who get together 3 times a week. And we talk about 3 different areas of our lives. If we talk about coping with feelings on a Friday lunchtime, the times I'm going to give you are Pacific times because I'm in Southern British Columbia here in Canada. So we do this broadcast at lunchtime on a Friday where we talk about coping with feelings. Because we all have them, and we need to know that it's okay to have them, and we need to know that we need to acknowledge them and not stuff them down. It's okay to be happy, to be sad, to be frustrated, to be whatever. It's how long you stay in that is the issue for most people. And then on Friday evening, we talk about coping with life, because life is around us all the time, good, bad, and indifferent. Hi there, Charlotte. And Jeannie, of course, welcome. And so the 3rd broadcast is on a Sunday afternoon at 3:30, and that is talking about coping with stress. Now, in all the broadcasts, we sort of do a bit of everything. So main thing is we're here. And that is the most important thing, in my view, is that viewers know that if they've got an issue that suddenly comes up, they know where to find us at the weekends. And that is really important. Charlotte saying, you did it, Sal. I see your finisher shirt on. I'm more than proud. Hi, Yenny. Welcome. Big hugs to you, and let us know how you found us. And if you can, give us where you're from, roughly, you know, what part of the world you're from. And also, if you can, just give an age range, just so the other viewers can, get in touch with who you are. And if the other viewers that are presently online can give Yinny an idea of where you're from and what age range you're in by the decade, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, in my case, 70s. So we are a group of people who get together. Did I get the vaccine? First one. I've had my first one, Yinny. I'm waiting for the second. So, and that won't happen, they say, until about July, because I'm in Canada. Unless, of course, the US has too many, in which case they might ship some up to us and I might get it a bit earlier. But we will see. So, I'm pretty certain that you've all had your fair share of feelings this week. I'm going to be updating you in a minute on a number of things. But what I wanted to say that my main topic this weekend will be the journey is the reward. In other words, I'm going to be talking a bit about goal setting and why the journey of achieving goals is the reward, not the actual end result. And then I'm also going to be talking about, obviously, some accomplishments, both mine and other people's. We're going to be doing some feedback on the 5K that I did, the good, the bad, and the ugly of that. And just to let you know, we are now on we're still on chapter 5, page 147 of this year. All right. So we're 147 of 365, or is it 366 this year? Didn't we have a leap year? Anyway, so just to let you know, we're sort of a third of the way through the year and moving on. It's going to be Christmas before we know it. So And updates, as far as I know, no birthdays this week. And if anybody has a birthday this week, let us know so we can add it to our list. We did have Lionel and Jodie's anniversary. What number was it, Jodie? Just remind me, if you will. And for those of you who don't know, you'll hear me talk to Jodie quite a bit. She is our admin, and she keeps me in check. Oh, Charlotte's telling me last year was the leap year. Okay, so it is 365 this year. I'm going to talk a bit about that, by the way, if I either to now or this evening, about the Chinese dam that could affect how many days we have in a year. Right, so I wanted to give thoughts and prayers to Jeannie, who's going to be hearing pretty soon about her kidney stone operation. And I will be updating you on the rest of her news under the problem solver section. I also want to give a heads up that Jodie is now all cleared, as far as I know, for going through with her operation, which will now happen, I presume, within the next month, Jodie. Correct me if I'm wrong here. And I just wondered, talking about the vaccine, how many of you now are totally vaccinated? You've had, if you were meant to have 2, that you've had them already. I'm sort of trying to keep up to date as to how far everybody has got. And for those of you who know Manon, she's doing fine. I speak to her, via various social media things every week. So she seems to be well on the way. And as you know, she got a new job, and I will find out more about that and update you on it. All right, so Charlotte is in Canada, so she's younger, and she's having her first shot on Sunday. All right, so let me know which one you get. All right, it's interesting to me in the Canadian ones. I ended up with the Pfizer one, which was good. Sharon is in the States, and she said she's had both. Oh, you already know which one you're going to have, Charlotte? How do you know that? That's interesting. I didn't know until they actually were about to put it in me. Oh, and Ginny, sorry, Ginny, I missed where you're from. Let me scroll back and see if I can find out. No, I missed it. So, Ginny, I'm not sure where you're from, so forgive me. But you had the Pfizer one yesterday. Your arm is aches and you have chills. Quite honestly, that's quite normal. Take some ibuprofen or ibuprofen, whatever, ibuprofen, and you should be absolutely fine. Oh, interesting. Charlotte said that it was a choice when she made her appointment here in Canada. That's interesting. And both Lionel and Jodie are fully vaccinated, no side effects. Yeah, I must admit that I was very pleased with the fact that I can't remember having any, I might have felt a bit sluggish and my arm might have been, a bit tender, but it wasn't anything that was worth mentioning as far as I was concerned. All right, so now then, feelings of accomplishment. Did any of you have feelings of accomplishment this week? And if so, let's talk about it. Yes, that's Jodie's giving some very good advice. That if you do find that your arm is a little bit sore, exercise it as much as you can. Maybe do some arm rolls like this, Jenny, or go out and have a walk. And I'll be talking about that one. Go out and have a walk. Get the circulation going. That is wonderful. All right, interesting. Jeannie's saying that Johnny York's son had the second Pfizer and was sick the next day. Yeah, I think it's all relevant to how sick. I'm certain not just for the one day. So, I mean, to me, again, it's a case of the price that you pay for not ending up in ICU. So please, everybody, I encourage you, please have your vaccines and keep yourself safe. Don't worry about everybody else, what everybody else is doing. Keep yourself safe. That's the only person you can control. Oh, awesome. Jeannie's saying it was just the one day. Good. That's what I've heard. Those that do have a bit of a reaction to that second shot, normally it's only for a day, and after that, they're good. While we're waiting to hear about people's accomplishments, I just wanted to give you a follow-up. I talked to Lauren yesterday about the fact that she's going back to university. And in terms of the journey as the reward, she really had a tough year this year. And yet through it all, she decided to do a course, a study course. And in that, discovered that she really liked psychology. And now she's on her way back to university to switch out a couple of segments now and study psychology at university. Isn't that amazing? And we give her all the support in the world. And Jody will tell you that she had the biggest problem even completing a regular course a couple of years ago. And this year, we sort of held her feet to the fire a bit and said, okay, fine. If you're going to do another course, we're going to be there to support you. I cannot tell you the value of supporting one another through your goals, all right? And I'm going to be talking about why it is so important to set a goal in a second. But, you know, there were so many times that she wanted to just, you know, fall behind or do whatever. And the only reason you fall behind is because you haven't spent enough time doing what you're meant to be doing. You found other things that are so much more important. And so Jody's saying that her accomplishment was updating her planner and scheduling a timeline based on of tasks and the remaining blood work that must be done before my surgery. Yes, well done, Jody, and I enjoy your timeline there. You know, it doesn't matter how you keep your goals in order, just have them. The journey is the reward. All right. And Jody's saying Lauren is such a rock star. Yes, I think, Jody, you and I, more than anybody, knows how hard she worked to get this far. And it's a wonderful thing. Ginny is saying she accomplished it when she got her Canadian citizenship. Wow, Ginny, congratulations. That's quite a moving ceremony, isn't it? I want to tell you, it actually makes me cry even thinking about mine. I did mine not that long ago, in the time of DearMamaSal. So I think it was about 10 years ago that I did it. And I had been in Canada for 25 years. And it was so funny, Ginny, because when I went to renew my landed immigrant permit, I remember this woman looked at me and she said, "May I ask you a personal question?" And I said, "Sure." And she said, "Is there any reason why you haven't become a Canadian?" And I sort of hesitated, and she looked at me and said, "Do you know that at your age, you do not have to take any exam? The fact you have been here for as long as you have means that you can come right in." And I went, "Really? Hand me those papers." And apparently that's what was stopping me subconsciously, was I didn't want to sit an exam and fail. Some of you will relate to that maybe. So Ginny, well done. I'm very proud of you. I know that hopefully you had people there to see you become a Canadian. Although I don't have any family in the country, I was amazed how many of my friends came to watch me become a Canadian. It was very, very exciting. And I still have my little flag. Did they give you a little Canadian flag, Ginny? You know, as part of the ceremony? I still have it, just so that you know. I have no idea where the certificate is, but I definitely have that. So I wanted to update you in terms of accomplishment. I got the donation boxes into the car. The next step is to deliver them to the place that I want to donate them to. So I was quite proud. And by the way, by the time I finished, I have 3 boxes in the car now. And that was, you know, a big step forward for me. And in terms of the unpacking, I have great news. That is that I now do not have any boxes in any room. Actually, I lied. There is one box here in the living room, but it's all stuff that is, what do you call it, office type stuff that I just need to put into another box. But other than that, my bedroom, bathrooms, my craft room is cleared of boxes this week. I just kept taking one step every day. I kept saying part of my routine was to just put some things away in the craft room. And I managed to clear all the boxes away just by doing that. And I just kept saying, spend a bit of time, make it look tidy. And I would think by the end of the week, I'll be able to take a picture for you. I'm so excited. Moving on to the 5K. Yes, I finished it. And that was the good news. I don't mind telling you that it was a lot more difficult than I thought it was going to be. And I don't mind telling you that truth at all. And I think sometimes in life, when we set a goal, we really don't know exactly how difficult a goal will be. I don't know, but in my mind, I felt that 5K was probably about 3K. And, when I actually did the distance, the distance I thought 5K was, by the way, that's 3.1 miles. I thought it was about 2 miles. I didn't, but when you actually go to walk it, it is over a solid hour of walking if you're my age. And, I sort of looked at it and went, well, you signed up for it, so you need to do it. So now, with all integrity, I can pull out my medal. And for those of you who haven't seen it, let me take it off and show you. It is a beautiful medal, and it has, the BMO Vancouver Marathon 2021, 5 kilometers. And on the back, it also has the 5 kilometers on it. But now I have every right to display it and wear it. I did it. And by the way, I didn't do it once. I did it twice. Oh, that's interesting. Charlotte's saying, yes, Mom was 1 hour and 6 minutes in her mid-60s when she did her first race. I actually did it in 1 hour and 9 minutes. So I'm pleased to know that that's what she did. I thought you said she did it in under an hour. So wear it proudly. Yeah, I have to tell you, I am fairly proud. So the interesting thing is, to me, that the reason I had to do it twice was because I had a problem with my Fitbit. And, my Fitbit being my tracker. And what was happening was my app on my phone was telling me I had walked the distance. But when I got home, and then it recorded the map. The map said I had done 3.08, not over 3.1. And so what I decided was, I must have failed in some way. All right. So I did it again. And the interesting thing was, when I did it again, when it went to 3.1, I took a screenshot. 3.1 miles. I took a screenshot and went, okay, I can now prove I did the 3.1. And then I went all the way to 3.2 and some and took a screenshot again. And in fact, that was the official one that I actually recorded the 3.2, not the 3.1. Interesting. I could have had a better time. Anyway, never mind. And then when I got inside, And when I got inside, it still said I'd only done 3.08. And that is when I decided I would speak to Fitbit. And I did. I spoke to Fitbit and I said, guys, this is what's happened. And they said, it's a known glitch. And here is what the glitch is. It takes a while for the GPS to start catching up with you. And so I said, so I am correct that the actual time that it showed is the correct time? And they said, yes, absolutely. And so then I knew that I was okay to, send in my time and become a finisher. I did it. However, I did improve the time on the second one. And in so doing, I think I pushed a little too hard. Charlotte saying you've gained perseverance by doing it twice. Yeah, I think endurance, yes. Yeah, well, Jeannie, you know that my integrity was really struggling with the fact that it wasn't showing it on the map. And that's why the second time I made sure I took the screenshot so I could prove that I had done that distance. And then, as I said, Fitbit confirmed that there was that problem. They knew about it, and they said they will be doing an update for me, and I would get a new one. I haven't had it yet, so I don't mind. I, with all integrity, knew that I'd done the distance and that I could record it. So that was a good thing. Now then, I guess, how do you think I felt? We're talking about coping with feelings. How do you think I felt after I had done it? Yeah, Jeannie's talking about something she did for her integrity. I'm going to be talking about that in a second, Jeannie. So bring that up again when we get to your issue under the problem solver. So I wanted to check with you. You know that back in September, I could hardly walk up 4 stairs. My right hip was, suffering from arthritis, and that by after the fire happened at the end of September, I started doing a little bit of exercise with it. And then in, November, I got the Fitbit. And by December, I was trying to do, I'm trying to think how many steps a day I was doing, about 3,000, I think, round about November. And then I worked my way up. All right, so Charlotte has experience. So she said, did you let it all out? I cried and was in shock after my first 5K. No, I didn't cry and I wasn't in shock. I was a little bit angry, quite honestly. And I was underwhelmed. I know that probably surprises you all. Jody's saying, tired like $1,000,000. Yes. You've worked so hard for this accomplishment. Yes, I have to say, Jody, that you know how hard I worked because you heard the backstory of all of this. Jeannie's thinking you must have felt elation and relief. I want to tell you something. Relief was my number one feeling. Thank goodness it's done. Jeannie, absolutely spot on. Thank goodness it's done. I didn't feel much elation, except that I could wear the shirt. And know that I had completed it, but I didn't feel a whole lot of elation. Isn't that surprising? And then what happened was I told my brother, those of you who remember Big Brother Jeff, I told my brother what I had done, and he wrote back to me and said, well, it's a Vancouver marathon, but what you did was a micro marathon. I don't know if any of you can relate to this, but that hit me really hard. After hardly being able to walk in September and doing all that I did to be able to walk nonstop for over an hour, for some reason, I let that in. I let it in and it totally deflated me. I don't mind telling you that. I wasn't proud of myself that I let it in. But I've always said to you that I would stay as honest as I possibly could about things. And it triggered me that I had done supposedly so little. And then I thought, no, I think in a way I want to just make sure he understands. So I told him the history. And then I said, I've come from doing 2,000 steps a day to doing, in the last, couple of months, walking a full marathon every week. And, he got back to me and said, oh, I do that in a day when I'm playing tennis. And I went, give up. It's all about him. And so I don't mind telling you, I did write back and I said how sad that you felt the need to minimize what I know was a major effort on my part. And I left it at that. Because that was my truth. He minimized what was a major effort on my part. And so sad. But now then, for those of you, how many of you understand about being triggered emotionally like that? So the next thing is, you know that I started to eat. Because once you're in the trigger, you sort of lose a lot of self-control. And so then, obviously, I started to eat the wrong things, and then my blood sugar went up. And it's taken me all week to get back under control. And I'm pretty good today. This morning, my blood sugar is just about back under control. So I was happy with that. But a couple of interesting points. Thank you. Jodie's saying you're a winner, Sal, in every way. And Jeannie's saying we're all so proud of you. Thank you. I want to tell you that if I hadn't set the goal, no, let me go back. If I hadn't started playing on the Wii, W-I-I, with my neighbor back in October, I would never have bought one. And then I would never have started doing the walks around the island that it has. I can remember when going around the island once was a major. You remember that, Jodie, that I managed to do 15 minutes nonstop going around the island. I remember how excited I was. And I want to tell you something. That felt more exciting to me than completing the 5K. Isn't that interesting? Now then, I've got some surprises for you on this one. What surprised me was this week, I didn't do any exercise after I finished the 5K. I haven't been out and walked. And so it surprised me to see, and I just want to bring up that picture for myself, that for the 7 days, I have averaged 9,266 steps a day. So that's pretty good. I mean, that includes the 5K at one end. But I was surprised how many days this week without going walking, I actually went over 6,000 steps a day. And in fact, every day except 2 in the last week. And that's without going onto the Wii or going outside and walking. Isn't that amazing? So the interesting part to me is that it obviously has had impact. All right, it is. My body wants to move more now. But how easy will it be for me to just slip back? And so now what I'm going to do is to start challenging myself again. I'm not going to do 5K again in a hurry, but I am going to, make sure that I keep up a decent amount of steps. On the difficult side for me, my arthritis has really been playing up in my hips, my spine, and mostly I feel it in my hips and my spine right now. So I'm not sure whether that is because of doing that 5K twice, that it is that I've, tweaked some things. I don't know what's happened, or whether, we've had some pretty stormy weather here. And so that could be the reason why. I'll let you know how that goes, but I definitely can feel it in my hips and my lower back. And I've run out of ibuprofen, so they're coming tomorrow. Now, the question that I have to you all is, if I hadn't got the Wii, do you understand I probably never would have done this? You do know that. If I hadn't decided to spend $100 and get a second-hand Wii and start doing steps every day. And so I look at it and go, I took a step in the right direction in getting the Wii, no doubt about it. And I don't mind telling you, when I was in training to try and do the 5K, I was using the Wii to get my, first of all, it was a case of, if it's a nice day, I'm going out and walking as far as I can. And if it was a bad day, I knew that I could do the distance on a Wii. Not the distance, but the steps. And I moved from 6,000 steps a day up to 8,000 steps a day, and then up to 2,000 steps a day. What am I saying? 10,000 steps a day, which is what I thought I needed to do to be fit enough to do it. And so I am happy that I did the investment on the Wii, and that I step by step increased my ability. Now, I noticed that Ginny's asked me, what will I do after the broadcast? Prepare for tonight's broadcast, it would be my truth. But I probably will take a walk down to the mailboxes and go and pick up my mail, which will be, wearing my shirt, which will be the first time that I have, literally gone out and walked. Yes, and Jeannie's making the point, if I had not gone to visit the neighbor, I would not have known about the Wii. I knew about it, but I didn't know how much fun it was. And quite honestly, it wasn't until I got it that I found out how much fun it was to walk with it. And, it's really interesting that I tried, virtual walks and everything else, even when I had the Wii. And what I found is I kept going back to walking around the island, which takes about 10 minutes now. I think the first time I did it, it took over 15. And now I'm, depending on how I walk, I can do it in about 8 minutes. So it's amazing, the difference. Jodi's saying, yes, Jeannie, and then Jodi wouldn't have known about it either. It's because of Sal's enthusiasm that I purchased the Wii, and it's been instrumental in prepping me for my surgery. Yes. So it's not that I'm getting paid by a Wii or anything, but this is about, it is a fun way to get a bit of exercise. And for me, that was the start. So under the problem solver section, and Jeannie's here, so she'll be able to give me extra bits of information. You will remember that on Sunday, we were helping Jeannie with a problem. And for those of you who are new and didn't hear the Sunday broadcast, what happened was that Jeannie needed the insurance company to give her a check by Tuesday so that she could give it to her builder, who's rebuilding her house. She also had a fire in her house. And she needed that check to be in the builder's hands by Wednesday. And the good news was that she actually discussed the problem with us. And because she discussed it with us, we were able to give her some ideas, options of what she might want to do when she went to the insurance company to get the check. And to cut a fairly long story, I think, shorter, she went, and as I thought, they said that they had mailed it. Am I right on that, Jeannie? That they had mailed it, and that she should be getting it immediately. And then, just remind us of the thing. I know that what happened was that the bank wanted to hold the check for 5 days before they released the money. Yes, they'd mailed it from a different location. Okay. And so, but it did arrive. But then when Jeannie took it to the bank to actually deposit it, the bank wanted to hold on to it for 5 days. And Jeannie said, if I understood this correctly, she just said, no, you can't hold this for 5 days. And this is why. And I want to tell you something, Jeannie. I was so proud of you when I heard that you actually just said no. And she got the bank to issue a bank guaranteed check, which is pretty difficult to do. But I admire you so much for getting them to do it. All right. So the bank said we couldn't write a check for the builder for 5 days. That's right. They needed to clear it. So, but they did manage to give her a bank guarantee check, and I think that is wonderful. Well done, Jeannie. Really, that took a lot of courage and a lot of being able to stay present. And the interesting thing is, we said to her, stay firm, fair, and friendly. And just know what it is you need as a result, and do what you need to do to get it. And she did. She didn't need to get nasty. Oh, that's interesting. Jeannie said, I did say no, but York came up with the final solution. That's awesome. And that's why I always say to people, if you've got a problem, talk about it. Most people, when they've got problems, keep quiet. They don't want everybody to know they've got a problem. But I found that by talking about it, you get lots of options. I also know that people come onto DearMamaSal and ask for options all the time. And I'm not invested in whether they take my opinion or not. Right? That's not my issue. My only job is to give options, things that you can do. Is because most of the time we get stuck is because we don't know how to do it, or we're not sure, what to do. And I want to tell you my problem this week, just so you know, Jeannie, was that I knew I had to fill in some US tax forms for YouTube. And I want to tell you that some of you may know this, but if you don't, I have almost a PTSD reaction, post-traumatic stress reaction to filling in legal forms. I think it came about from living in a police state for a while, and that if you told, if they caught you on a lie, you ended up in. Yeah, and I don't mean caught you on a perjury lie. I mean that you just didn't know any better, that they would throw you in prison, throw the key away. And so I've always been very traumatized by having to fill in a legal document, way more than you can imagine, which probably surprises you because you know that I'm pretty good about getting things done. But legal stuff really sends me for a loop. And I think the one person that knows it more than anybody else is Yvonne, my friend Yvonne, who for 20 years helped me go through the legal documentation of getting my citizenship, for example, Jenny, and also helped me with the legal documents to get my old age pension and things like that, because it was so very traumatizing for me. But with the support of Jody and with Lauren, I managed to actually bite the bullet and get it done this week. And it was important because it has to be done by the end of the month. So the good news is, and I got a confirmation back that it's cleared and that it's done. So I've got the documentation, and I sent a copy of that over to Yvonne, who looks after my accounting stuff. So, done. I am pleased for it. And I must give all credit to YouTube, who actually, when you filled in the form, it automatically brought you up. If you said, okay, I want to be cleared on this this part of the tax system, they actually gave you the paragraphs that you needed to quote. It came on a drop-down menu, and you just pressed a button, and there it was, the paragraph, and I qualify for this. And then I didn't know that I needed to apply for 3 different ones, but I did, and YouTube had it all there. So big round of applause to YouTube that they gave me all of that, so it made it easy. And of course, I'm also part of the North American treaty thing because I'm in Canada. I think somebody asked me where in Canada. Oh no, somebody asked Jenny where in Canada. That's right. Yeah. Okay, so does anybody else have a problem this week? Are they feeling a bit stressed out about a problem? And if so, let us know so we can talk about it and give you some options. I have to say that I think some of you know that I am inclined to, when I want to get something done, how many of you remember I wanted to clean up my dining room? After I'd unpacked it all, it was all over my dining room table and everything. And so the way I made sure that I would tidy up my dining room was I invited my pod of people. I've got 3 people I'm allowed to mix with. I invited my pod over for dinner. I knew that if I did that, I would tidy up the dining room table. Make sense? And so I knew that I wanted to tidy up the craft room. That was my next major tidy up area. And so what I did is I invited the insurance renovation people to come and go through the house with me. Now, I know this sounds stupid. The reno guys don't care what the house looks like. They saw it at its absolute worst, with all the fire damage and all the water damage and everything else. But it was really amazing that I thought, if I invite them, I know that craft room will be tidy. Isn't that funny? And sure enough, every day part of my routine is do one more bit of tidying up in the craft room, and I am nearly done. So I'm very excited. Jeannie's saying that she wanted to give some praise to the medical personnel. We mentioned that she's going to be going in for surgery soon, and she just had such good service from the medical personnel. I'm glad to hear that. Do we know when that surgery is going to be yet? And for those of you who missed it, she's going to have kidney stone surgery. So if any of you got a problem, let us know so we can give you some ideas. The next thing after I finish the craft room is my next mission is going to be the most difficult one, which will be to empty all the boxes in the studio. And that will be a major one because that is a lot of messy stuff. It'll be all my art supplies and the cruddy stuff, as I call it. So that's going to be a big job. And for some reason, I haven't been able to find the curtains that will hide it all. But maybe in unpacking, I will find them. But that's going to be, it'll not be this week coming, but it'll be the following week that I start doing a major, unbox at least one box a day of that. The problem is not the unboxing. The problem is, where do you put it once you've got it all out? And that is the issue. Now, somewhere in my life, I did have, things that I could put it all into, but, unfortunately with the fire, they're gone. So we'll make a plan. And I'm still in the process of tidying up my deck. And, that'll be an ongoing process probably for the whole summer. I'm not too concerned about it. I'm not too worried about the outside this year. I want to get my inside ready for the winter. And that's the main thing. So Jeannie's saying that she's had a lot of pain from the kidney stones. She's got a couple of big ones, and that she could be having the surgery within a week or so. Wow, well, keep us informed. And, that's best of luck. I mean, what can one say? Jodie's saying that in her life, she and Lionel have got the same problem. Too many things and no place to put them that looks like a cohesive or makes sense. Yes, I'm saving up to get another one of those big wall units that I got, the little cubey ones, the smaller ones, because I want to tell you, that was the best $60 I spent. It holds so much and it looks so neat and tidy. And, just because it's there and it's only about, a cupboard width deep, and it just, I'm getting another one because I'll be able to put my my paint supplies in there and close the doors, and you won't know what's in there. So that's really a good one. But I got to save up now for the next one. All right. So, Jeannie, any feelings around having the operation? Are you feeling a little scared? Any major feelings? I mean, obviously you're in pain, and for that we're sorry. So, yeah, I would say that I've been through it, so I know the pain. All right, so Jeannie is saying always scared, but the medical people are kind. Sometimes remember me. Yes, I'm sure they do. You're a nice human being, and they would remember nice human beings. So keep us informed, and I'll and I'm going to presume that if you let me know, it's okay for me to share the information, unless you tell me don't share it. How about that? That will save you a lot of follow-ups from me. If you share it with me, that it's okay for me to share unless you tell me otherwise. How's that? Okay, fine. Thank you. All right, so fine. Fine doesn't sound enthusiastic. Fine sounds okay. Hmm. Do you, is there more feeling behind that I don't know? So did anybody have any feelings of confusion this week? Anything confused you? And that's a horrible feeling, isn't it? That feeling of confusion. And if so, just remember that confusion is a good thing. If you feel confused about something, it's because you don't totally understand it. And one of the things that I would recommend is if you read something and are confused by it, or if you see something and you're confused by it, talk about it with somebody. Because 9 times out of 10, it may be confusing to you, but to the next person, it may be perfectly clear. And so if you can, take a screenshot of it if you read something that confuses you, or, just understand that it's okay to be confused. It's a very normal feeling, but I don't know about the rest of you, but when I feel confused, I also feel a bit stupid. Don't even relate to that. And so it's a case of the reason I try and talk to somebody about it, that, and I try and pick my person. What person do I know that's likely to understand this? And, and also will be able to tell me in English. When I say in English, not in legalese, they'll be able to tell me in language I understand. And so that is a very important one. So remember, it's okay to have feelings of confusion. Did anybody have any feelings of frustration this week? I did. While you guys are typing about that, what I had was, I don't know if you remember, I had 2 pineapples sitting here. Do you remember that? For a couple of weeks. And the funny thing was that I opened up. You remember I was waiting to be able to pull the leaves off. If you can pull a leaf out, it's done. It's ripe. And I waited for quite a while for that first one to pull a leaf out and know that it was done. And when I opened it up, it was nasty inside. And so I really had to think about that. And when, I looked at the second one and I'm going, well, it's turning yellow. It's pretty yellow. And I'm not sure, both of them were not good inside. So I've decided I'm not buying fresh pineapple. I'm going to carry on buying, the already cut up pineapple, because then I know it's good. So interesting. Uh, Jody's saying she got frustrated that an Amazon package was taken from her front porch, and it contained some antibiotic cream for her dog, Taily. Yes, that was very frustrating, I'm sure. But then you luckily found the mother of invention, right? You luckily found some other antibiotic that you could use. That was good. And Jeannie's saying she bought a mango that was bad. Never had a spoiled one before. Yeah. And so it is frustrating, but it is what it is. And as we all know, feeling frustrated, or in my case, I was almost angry about it, that they were both bad. But it's not going to help me at all, is it? What's going to help me is to huck it out, get my countertop clear, and move on. That's what's going to help me. And so to me, it was just an interesting, okay, fine. I cannot afford to spend, I think they were about $8 each. And I don't know about you, that's $16 that went down the drain. And so I'm not going to do that again. I can't afford that. I would rather, buy the pre-cut and know I haven't wasted my money. And so I look at it and go, we all have those feelings every week. And so if you've had a feeling of frustration or anger, it's normal. How about feelings of love? Any of you have any feelings of love this week? I would like to say that, I see that Jeannie is saying that she read a book that she obviously loved. And what is it? She's saying she read the book, The Woman with the Blue Star, about the Holocaust in Poland. So not a fun book to read, I'm sure. And she's saying it was a book of fiction with some fact around it. All right. So, and Jeannie's saying that would have been a feeling of great love. Her grandson, Oliver, got on the phone with her and talked to Blue Streak. Isn't that lovely? And so, you look at it and go, we create these moments of love. I knew that my neighbor was having a tough time because of something that's going on in her life. And so I made a point of actually going over there and having tea with her one day, just sit and chat the breeze with her. And the good news that I have under feelings of great joy on that is that Canada has now lifted its restrictions on restaurants, which means we can go back to our Sunday Chinese dinner. And I don't know why that was so exciting for me. Oh, we can go back to having Chinese dinners on Sundays. And so that means I will get to see her a lot more. Interesting. Jody's saying she had feelings of love this week, caring for Taily. Yes. You realize how much you love your dog when you realize how you feel when they're sick. Yes, I think that's a really important thing to realize. If you didn't care so much, you wouldn't feel so much, all right? And celebrating your anniversary. Yes, great feelings of love there. And celebrating my accomplishment on the 5K. Yeah, I thank you for all your support on that. Oh, Jeannie's saying we went to a restaurant minus our masks. Yes, that would be a great feeling of joy there. So I'm not sure whether we still need to wear masks inside a restaurant. I will wear take my mask with me in case that is so. So that is, or I'll ask Betty Ann on the way there, right? Now, how many of you, I don't know if you remember, but I got one of those hose pipes, those ones that sort of, turn into next to nothing. I got 150 feet of it, and it has worked so well. I want to tell you, I was so excited. that I can go all the way to the front of the house and water everything, and I can walk all the way to the back and water all the vegetable gardens and everything without having to stop. The hose is that long. That was the good news. However, hi Chris, good to see you. So Chris is saying he got pineapples at Sam's Club for $2.43 each. Yeah. And I bet they were good inside too. Yeah. Why does that not make me feel any better, Chris? But it's a great bargain for those of you who know Sam's Club. Anyway, so as I was saying about the hose pipe, I was so excited that I did all of it. And then I turned around and you know what I saw? My number one tomato of the year. I always call the first one Tommy. Tommy the tomato was already this high. And in pulling the hose pipe, I had knocked over the container with Tommy the tomato in it and decapitated him. Very sad. It is what it is. Luckily, I've got a few backups. But now I know I need to be more careful where I put those tomatoes because the hose pipe is going to attack them. It's a learning moment. So okay, Chris, you're going to need to explain that to me before I start talking about it. All right, Jody's saying that in her area, indoor-outdoor dining is allowed with capacity limits based on maybe it's in my area. Distance requirements and other rules, including maximum 6 people at a table, not restricted to your bubble. Okay, that's awesome. You must wear a mask when not at the table. Yes, we do that. So thank you, Jody. You look that up in Canada for me? You are such a star. Really? Thank you. That's what I thought. Oh, thank you. All right, Chris. Chris said I committed a double homicide with the beheading of the tomatoes. Yeah, how did you know there were 2 plants? That's what confused me. There were 2 in there. That one container. There were 2. Yeah, but you know something? Actually, yeah. I saved them because I'm hoping they'll regrow some roots. I'm waiting for them to regrow some roots, in which case it won't be a total loss. They'll just be delayed. It might not happen, but you know me, I don't give up that easily. So, but I thought you'd all like to know that because, really, how stupid can I be? Don't answer that, please. So did anybody else have feelings of stupidity this week? And by the way, did feeling stupid do me any good at all? No. None. The main thing was get over it, and you killed your tomato plants. Pick it up, see if you can salvage anything, and move on. Yeah, go to the next one. Luckily, I had planted quite a few, and I've still got more backups over here in this area. By the way, I didn't totally give up on the pineapple leaves either. I'm going to see if they're going to grow roots or not. What the heck? It's who I am, right? What about unboxings? Did any of you have any fun unboxings that gave you feelings of joy this week? I got my gray boxes for my bedroom. So although I had opened cubies in my bedroom, I've now got all that stuff that was in them put away nicely, and it now looks cohesive. It's amazing. Really happy about that. That I've managed to get that done. Jeannie's saying that her grandsons are getting haircuts today. Please pray for Zephyr, who is not doing well. That's got nothing to do with haircuts, though, right? He's not doing well through illness or through his illness. Just so we know, I'll put up some thoughts and prayers later for you. But I just want to know what I can just use that, actually, now that I think about it. So I'm sorry to hear that. And I think, from what I gather, Jeannie, that the problems with Zephyr probably will be an ongoing thing, right? It's not seasonal or anything. It's an ongoing issue. He always talked a lot, but has regressed, not talking as much at all. Right, so the grandson that you talked to was the other one, not Zephyr. Am I correct in, just forgive me, Jeannie, because, my mind doesn't retain everything, but I think he suffers from autism, am I correct? And, that is a life all of his own. I don't know how to, I've experienced quite a few people and had friends who actually were autistic. And so I know that that is an incredible journey for not only Zephyr to learn how to cope with that as best he can, but also for the family and not just his parents, you as grandparents as well, because you would. No, he does not have it. Okay. So what is causing the problem? If you can discuss it. If you can't, don't worry. I don't know why I thought that's what it was. Wrong. I apologize. So Jody, I am thinking that you probably are going through quite a few emotions this, as you're leading up to your surgery. We've talked quite a bit about Jeannie's, but I'm pretty sure that you getting to the sort of being maybe weeks away now from having your operation. What is the underlying sort of feeling that's going on for you now? Are you sort of eating a few things that you will not be able to eat for a long time, if at all, again? That's what I was thinking. So, it must be really confusing for you to know, do I, I know I'm not going to be able to eat that, so I'd like to binge eat it now, but you're not allowed to because you're so close now to having the operation. Yeah, Jody's saying, yes, an emotional journey. I've indulged in a few Oreos. Well, that's, see, Jody, that's what I love about you, is your honesty around those things. And that's why I wanted to make sure that people knew that the emotion that I had when I completed, wasn't one of elation, quite honestly. It was like, oh my goodness, that's over. Jenny, I did actually answer that question. I'll be prepping for this evening's broadcast. That's what I do. I will probably stop, take a rest for half an hour, and then I will grab some food, or probably grab some food and rest for half an hour, and then I will prep for this evening's broadcast. That's what I do on a Friday. Friday is a very busy day for me. I do 4 hours of broadcasting, probably 2 to 3 hours of prepping, and then, my usual things. Oh, so Jody's saying, I'm trying to prepare things for Lionel to make it easier for him while I recover. I'm prepping freezer meals and baking cookies. Yeah, what about your meals? I hear you doing a lot for his meals. But I don't hear what you're doing for yours. Are you sort of making, I want to say baby food, ready for that time as well? What time is tonight's broadcast? It is 7 o'clock Pacific time. In other words, it's now 1:05 here in southern British Columbia. I'm not sure where you live, Jeannie. Canada, but I don't know where in Canada. So, it's going to be in 6 hours from now. And I had a feeling of surprise this week. Did any of you? And the surprise came, it's amazing the things that I see. The surprise came when, and let you have a guess here. How many pairs of shoes do you think the US throws into the landfill every year? Have a guess. How many pairs of shoes do you think end up in the landfill in the US every year? And while you're making your guess on that, Jody is reporting back in terms of the meals she's prepping. She's having a gastric bypass surgery, by the way. And she's saying, I have a lot of fish lately and vegetables. I'm having cottage cheese and cream of wheat with baby food for breakfast and lunch. It's interesting, Jody, what are you doing to prep for after the operation? Are you freezer banking food for you is what I'm trying to find out. All right, so Ginny's saying 8 pairs. Do you mean that people throw away 8 pairs every year? And Jody's saying she thinks 800,000 probably end up in the landfill. All right, thank you for guessing, guys. I appreciate the participation. Would you believe 300 million pairs of shoes end up in the landfill each year? Now, I want you to think about that. How many pairs of shoes have you bought this year? Now, I had to buy shoes this year, right? If you remember, I lost mine in the fire. I had to buy flip-flops for the summer. I had to buy, hi there, Venice. I had to buy new walking shoes, new all shoes. Basically, most of my shoes ended up being destroyed. So 300 million, yes, Jody, 300 million pairs of shoes end up in the landfill in the US every year. So why do we do that? Please don't throw them away. Donate them, because maybe they can, go elsewhere. And the other thing is this: if you happen to be in a community that looks after, people that are homeless, think about the fact that they might be old shoes to you, but they'll be new shoes to somebody who doesn't have any. And so really think about not throwing them away. Make sure you donate them. And if you do donate them, hopefully they will go to somebody that can't afford to buy shoes. Yes, Bernice is saying that, in the Philippines, you don't get to them replaced until you can't repair them anymore. Absolutely. And Jody's saying, yes, there has to be a better way. They can be donated, yes. I'm thinking I spent an awful lot of time in Africa, and I'm thinking the shoes that we think are done for, I know an awful lot of people that would really think that they had got the greatest Christmas gift if they got a pair of my used shoes. And by the way, as you know, I save up my used T-shirts, the ones I don't want to wear anymore. And old shoes and stuff, because I know whenever Dougie goes home to Kenya, he takes empty suitcases filled with clothes for his family, shoes and T-shirts and things. So I just try and make sure I always keep some back that I can give him for his next trip. Jody's saying that she has Birkenstocks from 17 years ago. Oh, interesting point. Hang on one second. For those of you who don't know what Birkenstocks are, they are a particular shape of shoe, that have good arch support and also good support in here. These are rubber ones, all right? So they're pretty flexible. You got the solid, what I call the solid ones, Jody? And Jody's saying she got hers 17 years ago. The reason I got Birkenstocks was because even though they are expensive, for that very reason, Jody, I know that they last a long time. I know that this is very unlikely to break in a short period of time. We will see. So think about that. And I got, white ones for the summer. And the other reason I like the rubber ones is I can throw them in the washing machine. And they're already a little stained. Don't know if you can see that. Yes, you can. Okay, they're already a little stained, but I'm pretty certain I can use a melamine sponge on them and get that off. I definitely think they were worth every penny, yes. And by the way, in terms of walking the 5K, these were more comfortable to wear than my running shoes. Isn't that interesting? Yeah, that's why I bought the white ones, because I knew they would go with anything in the summer. All right. And so, the rubber ones were suggested to me by my son Cisco. He said to me, you might want to get some rubber ones for walking around the house rather than go in flat feet, because I realized that part of my problem with my ankles was I didn't have enough arch support. Interesting. Jody's saying hers are white with floral print. That's interesting. So anyway, to have, and quite honestly, what I love about these is I can end up in the garden and not worry about them. You know what I mean? It's like I know that I can throw them in the wash and they're going to be fine. Shoes I can throw in the washer, I like. So think about that. Think about the shoes that you've got. I've still got a lot of shoes that did survive that I will be donating. I'm not going to throw them, even though, some of them aren't in perfect shape. I will still donate them because that would be far better. I'm having problems donating some of my shoes. I'm hoping I'm going to lose enough weight to be able to wear them again. It may never happen, but I've got those shoes that and they're summer ones, and they're so pretty. I'll try and dig some up for you for this evening's broadcast. Yeah, and Jody's saying these are they almost look like Crocs, right? Birken Crocs, yeah. But it works. Now, obviously, I'm going to end up with that shape of a suntan. So I try to make sure I swap them out every now and then and wear a different pair, so it's not quite as obvious. So anyway, going back to that, think about that before you throw away shoes. Donate them rather than throw them away. And I would think as things get more and more difficult in the coming months, cost-wise, that the more that we can donate to help other people, the better. Now, here's another thing that surprised me. I found out that according to the American Council on Exercise, people who track their steps take on average of 2,500 more steps a day than those who don't. How about that? People who track their steps are inclined to do 2,500 more steps a day than those who don't. I'm not surprised. I definitely must say that since I got my Fitbit, it made me really aware of what did I call it? I'm a slug watch. I used to call it, this is my I am a slug watch. And now I really do believe it is a fitness watch now for me. Jeannie's saying, good cost, look for shoes at dollar stores. Do they last though, Jeannie? The issue that I'm trying to say here is try to buy shoes that will last. Because if you buy a cheap pair of thongs, what do you call thongs? I think they call them. What do they call them in the States, Shirley? If you buy a cheap pair of these, they maybe will last you a year, if you're lucky, maybe 2, before this pops out and you can't wear them anymore. And so are they really, they end up in the landfill. So I would rather spend the extra money, buy ones that are going to last me for a long time. All right, not just for a season or 2. So again, it's like anything else, I think, in life, right? You can, yeah, but that's a different thing, Jeannie. And I agree with you. Jeannie's saying she got a pair for her granddaughter. They grow out of shoes very quickly. Yeah, that's, and I think most people with children would be doing the same. I agree with you. It is a cost saving because they are going to grow out of them pretty quickly. The subject I'm trying to do is for adults, which is be aware of how much money you throw away when you throw your shoes away rather than donate them. And also you are stopping other people being able to have a pair of shoes. But a good point, Jeannie, for those on a budget, which we all are, if you're buying shoes for your grandchildren, think about getting them a pair that they don't need to have for more than a year. But they will probably end up, but please encourage them to donate them once if they're still wearable when they've finished, not to throw them away. And I would, start talking to my grandchildren if I had them. In fact, I do. Right? I talk to them all the time. Interesting. Bernice is saying, my dollar store sandals lasted me 4 years till it broke. So bad I couldn't wear them anymore, but I used them for the bathroom. Interesting. And so think about that. That's all I'm asking. I'm talking feelings of reuse and recycle and to help your fellow citizen. Do what you can here. Yeah, I would have to go back to the fact that it surprised me that I didn't feel more elated after I finished the 5K. I've got to tell you that. I was quite saddened that I didn't feel great joy. Isn't that funny? I thought I would feel a whole lot better when I finished it. I thought I'd be over the moon with joy. And I was just so relieved it was over. Now, I think Benji's daddy asked me, Gramps, for those of you who know Gramps, he asked me, was I going to do another one? That surprised me. I wasn't expecting that one. And I thought, it wouldn't be a bad idea for me to do another one. Although, it does cost money to enter. But, the question I have is, do I believe I would have done 10K in 1 week? Because I did it twice, remember. Would I have done 10K in 1 week if I hadn't entered? If I hadn't spent the money? And, now this is basically, I spent the money on getting a new t-shirt. With a lot of advertising on the back, I think. Somewhere at the bottom, I think. So, I've got to think about that. Jody's saying maybe it's because you needed to do it a few times because of the Fitbit issue. You weren't able to truly celebrate it the first time. Yes, that's a very good point. My integrity wouldn't let me celebrate it until I could prove it. That's why I had to do it a second time. And yeah, it's a good point, Jody. And doing it twice was hard work for me, I must admit. By the way, do any of you want to know where I came in? Now, not all the results are in, and I won't know the final results, I guess, until Sunday. But I came in 303. Hang on a second. Of how many? Wait a minute. I know I've got those. I had that for you. Where did I put that? It would have been under the 5K stuff, right? All right, at the moment, I finished 303 of 316. I wasn't the last. I wasn't the slowest person on the 5K. Yay! Now, the other thing that really surprised me was only 3 people over 70 went so far actually participated. So that made me third. I came third of the over 70s. And by the way, I didn't miss it by much. The person ahead of me was only about 5 minutes ahead of me. So, I'm beginning to feel that I deserve the medal now. And again, think about, what if I hadn't entered? Would I have done it? I want to go back to that, because part of the thing that I learned very early on, and I'm pretty sure some of you know this one, if you don't have a dream, this comes from the song Happy Talk from the show South Pacific. If you don't have a dream, how are you going to have a dream come true? I am pretty certain that you know that when I entered the event, that was a dream. I never thought in my lifetime I would enter an event. And all thanks to Charlotte for encouraging us to think about that, because she does these 5Ks all over the place. Hi, Lizzie, good to see you. And so if I hadn't entered, would I have done it? I don't think so. If I hadn't entered, would I have the fancy medal? I don't think so, right? So part of life is you've got to participate to get the medal. If you don't participate in things, you're not going to get the reward. Now, even if I hadn't done it, do you understand? If I hadn't completed it, I still did so much working up to it. That's the way I look at it. I did so much leading up to it that I've got to be a healthier person because of that, even though I can feel it in my hips and in my spine. But I caused my hips and my spine to do a lot of extra work. And why my spine? Because my whole posture shifted during that time. What did I get the medal for? Completing. Hang on, I'll hold it up so you can see it better, Lizzie. I entered into the Vancouver Marathon 5-kilometer section. And I am a finisher. So the wonderful thing is, Lizzie, that we can do these marathons these days. We can do them digitally. In other words, you don't have to go anywhere to run it. You can run it in wherever you live. And so now my next thing is I'm going to start looking to see where is the next 5K that I would like to be part of. And maybe I will do one from another country or something. I don't know. But it will be interesting because obviously I would like to be able to improve on my time a little. Hey, if I can do it in 5 minutes less, it would be an improvement. And so the point that I'm trying to make about setting a goal for yourself, even if you spend a lifetime trying to achieve it, if you are constantly trying to take a step towards doing something better, then you are going to be doing better. I've said time and time again, and this is the important thing for everybody to understand. I was here at A doing 2,000 steps a day back when the fire happened. All right. And then I went towards, actually, I didn't have much of a goal in the middle because I was just doing the wee. But I was having such fun doing the wee. I was constantly improving the number of steps I did. But, by the time I entered into the 5K, I had a very definite goal. And what I know is if I work towards that goal and don't even make it, do you understand the effort I put in working towards it is a major win? The journey is the reward. All right? The journey is the reward. Steve Jobs said that, by the way. So think about that. If I hadn't started, now the trick is not to finish. Right? When I say the trick is not to finish, now it's a case of what else would I like to do? And by the way, think about this. It doesn't have to be walking. It may be that you choose to start dancing. Great exercise. Right. And Janie's saying her big accomplishment, as we have discussed, her big accomplishment this week was going to the insurance company officer. And she spoke to the lady alone and asked questions and got good answers. I had to stand alone for my integrity. Yes. Jodie's saying she's trying to learn the guitar as therapy for my arthritis. It's going to be a lifelong process, but I love it. Very good idea. I used to play guitar. It would mean I have to cut my nails again. Maybe not guitar. Piano, maybe. Piano would also do it, right? And Jeannie's saying if she hadn't gone, first of all, if she hadn't discussed it with us, that she wouldn't have had more options, but also if she hadn't gone, she would have failed herself. Yes, this is the whole thing. You were not a victim to this, Jeannie. That's the difference. You are not a victim to it. You actually did your level best, and you knew you could look yourself in the mirror and go, I did everything I could to make this happen. The difference is you succeeded, which you didn't just go, oh, it's not fair, and and I lost my best. You had motivation. You did not want to lose that builder. I know that was your motivation. So think about that. Think about the journey being the reward. All right. I know that I have got the rest of my life to finish unpacking. But can you understand there's part of me that now has set a new goal to get all the boxes out of the house? And quite honestly, I would like to get that done by the end of June, if possible. Get all the boxes out, except for the ones that have to store categories of stuff until I can afford to buy the units that will hold them. But this is like, I want every box opened, and so I know what's in them, and so that I can see what's in them and sort them. That is my goal. And if I don't set myself that goal, I won't do a little every day. And by the way, I am amazed when I got the boxes out of the craft room. The craft room feels like a third bigger. Wow. And Lizzie's saying her great accomplishments, and she has just finished her first year back at school. That is awesome, Lizzie. I'm so proud of you for doing that. And do you feel good about having done that? Now, the other thing that I wanted to say is I would have thought, and I know this sounds weird, I would have thought going from 2,000 steps a day to doing 10,000 a day, plus I did over 12,000 one day, you'd think I would have dropped maybe a couple of kilos of weight. Not so far. So I have no idea what it is I have to do to lose this weight. But part of me is still trying to find out. Maybe stop baking your own bread. But I don't have a lot. I have one slice a day. So, you look at it, and go, eventually that's all going to balance out, I hope. Jeannie's saying today's joy for her feeling of joy, is the builder is putting up the white subway tiles in the shower. I want to tell you that getting the tiles in the shower was a major step forward for me. I must admit, Jeannie, I know the joy of that. And Bernice is saying, my accomplishment this week is we've moved the desk from the dining room into the bedroom, and a bookshelf from the bedroom where the desk was. And we made more room in the dining room. Well done. Right. And Liz is saying, yes, I'm proud of it. This is, finishing her year back at, what she says she was doing back at school. It was harder as an adult, but I feel good about it. Yeah, I want to tell you that I felt good about finishing, that I actually did 5K nonstop. The fact I wanted, if possible, I would have loved to have done it under an hour. But, I did it in an hour and 9 minutes. I ended up being pretty happy about that. When I thought back to November, when I was excited to be able to do just 15 minutes nonstop. And so you think about it, it's these small steps forward. And now I've got a new benchmark for myself, right? My new benchmark is I know I can do 5K. I'm not going to go to 8. No, that's not where I want to be. I want to make sure that I will keep doing the 5K until I can get that down, to an interesting time. If I'm fit enough to bring that time down, my next one I do, I will obviously try and do it again under an hour. And if I can't, that's fine. I would like to be able to, see if I can do that. Jody's saying she had great joy this week when she bought a credenza from Facebook Marketplace and a cabinet for the bathroom. Both pieces was $75 total. It was a fantastic deal. Yes, get joy of those things. And the other thing is, you're going to be able to put things away tidily. I am surprised, to be quite honest, how I am definitely trying to get a lot of things put away. Now, you can probably see that this is part of my dining room unit. You can see there. They see all of that? All my plates, some of my plates are there, and some cut glass bowls are there, some ornaments. That's a plate. So I'm going to now start looking for things I can put. I might put those things into cubies, so that most of it is put away, but a couple of pieces are left. But I still love that dark wall behind, so I don't want to put too many things in there. But I've got room underneath to put, some cubies, so I might put some stuff away. On the top shelf, you probably can't see it. Yes, you can a little bit. Nope, this way. Can I point that far? There. On that top shelf, I got a lot of glassware. Most of those I could wrap up and put away. All right. They don't have to be on show. And so, in fact, it's a good idea if they're not. So that's going to be, but that's not urgent. To me, all that stuff can stay there until I've got all the boxes gone. And Bernice is saying, my joy is having fun activity and hobby with my hubby. He got into Hot Wheels collection and selling. And I got into it when I learned there are pink cars that glow in the dark. And, well, isn't that fun? And we're going to enjoy it together and have fun acquiring and organizing and having them. Yes. Now, here's the other thing I want to just warn you. That any collection, I think if you enjoy it, but don't collect them for how much money you're going to make out of them. Collect them because they give you joy. And also think, I know you're going to be moving. So when you move, make sure you know which wall is going to have little shelves on it for your collection. All right. Make sure you have a place for them, because boy, you're going to collect quite a few. And it's an expensive hobby, quite honestly. Collecting anything. Have any of you collected anything in your lives? You know, be it teaspoons or whatever. But you know, I one of the saddest things I saw this month was one of my neighbors here needs to sell her house. She needs to go into care. And you know, when she had her garage sale, one of the things that made me so sad is she had these beautiful dolls and nobody wanted them. And she was heartbroken that nobody wanted them. And, you know, she had this massive collection of beautiful dolls. Yeah, and Jody's saying, I collected Precious Moments figurines, all right? Bernice is saying it actually ends up being a cheaper hobby. It's the cheapest collection that he's had. But Bernice is saying, I collected stickers that bring me joy, pink stuff and glow in the dark stuff. You see, that's fun stuff, right? And so I totally agree that if it brings you fun and joy, you know, be my guest, but don't do it for the money. All right, because I cannot tell you how many people I've seen try to get rid of their precious collection that they spent a fortune on. Jeannie's saying dishes, particularly blue and white ones, and teapots. I inherited an owl collection, so people gave me more until I decided to sell them all. All right, and Jody's saying she also has bunny and lamb figurines, not surprisingly. Yeah, so you look at it and go, I know Yvonne, for example, collects things to do with Coke. You know, she has and Mickey Mouse. She's big into Mickey Mouse as well. So, you know, but do it because it brings you joy, not because you're going to make money out of it. And also think about where you're going to store them, because that is you know, some people have had to move houses so they can get a bigger place to store their stuff. So I'm trying to divest myself of things. And I will be pulling out those shoes I was talking about and seeing, you know, how much weight would I need to lose to be able to get back into them again? You know, because the reason I can't wear them is because my feet have swollen. But if I can just lose the weight, my feet will also lose weight, hopefully. But I could be wrong. And maybe edema is something I've got in the rest of my life. And so I would also challenge us all to think about, don't worry about winning, right? If you realize I didn't have to win to win, I needed to finish to be a winner. I needed to finish because if I finished, it meant I had done the work and I had put the time in. I was actually shocked that only 3 people over 70 entered, or so far. Yeah, I mean, obviously some more results will come in this weekend, but you know, that surprised me. I thought there would be lots of people of my age that entered. So I don't know about you. I feel pretty special now. One of 3. And by the way, all women. That surprised me. Now, I haven't seen how many over 70 did the half marathon. Maybe there were a lot of people over 70 that did that. Or the 8 kilometer rather than the 5. So, but it did, I was actually quite shocked. I went, wow. That puts me in a much, I don't know, I felt much better about it. Like only 3 people over 70 entered. And I'm certain, in my own way, I'm pretty certain Dougie was pretty proud of it as well. Oh, interesting. Jody's saying she loves Southwest pottery. And And Jeannie, York and Jeannie, do you mean Southwest or stoneware pottery, Jeannie? I didn't react to that because I was needed to ask a question. Southwest pottery is beautiful. It's pretty earthenware stuff, right? And as you can probably see right there, I've got earthenware there that I bought I brought with me from Africa. Oh, and underneath that glass bowl, a set of earthenware, handmade earthenware plates. So now, you know what makes me laugh is they probably had lead in them in their day, because those are 50 years old, but they're really nice to use for serving things on. I don't necessarily heat them up or anything, but I will use them for decoration. Yeah, when I think about them, I've been in Canada since '86, so. All right, so Jeannie's saying we love all kinds of good pottery. Yeah. I've still got, not here, they're outside. I've still got ashtrays that I made. I used to be a potter. I've got, I don't have much of the days when I was a potter, but I did make some ashtrays that I brought with me. It's funny, isn't it, the things that we do. And Jody's saying, I decorated in peach and aqua pastels with Southwestern pottery everywhere. That must have looked so pretty. And Bernice is saying, I'm working on journaling. I have commitment issues in writing and sticking stickers. I have tons of journals, but I can't get myself to write in them. Fear of messing it up. It doesn't make sense, does it? It totally makes sense. Bernice, I think anybody here would tell you that if they've got something that looks so pretty, like a brand new journal, they're scared to write on the first page. Yep, Jody says, I can so relate. The other thing is, there are an awful lot of people who don't want to write in journals for fear somebody will find them. So buy one with a lock. I think journaling is a really good thing to do if you don't have people that you talk to every day. The main thing is to get stuff out of your brain. The reason that we overwhelm is we have got so much going on in our brain. I'm trying to work out, I'm not quite sure, there must be a way to do it now. I will have to research that, but I would like to know how many things I have put into my system where I keep notes, because I bet you that I've got hundreds of things that I'm trying to do in that system. The only thing is I don't allow myself to do it all. I have what I call a mini list that I work on, right? This is my mini list for this weekend. And I just, allow myself like 4 or 5 things a week that I need to do. The rest of it is, if I get the chance to do it, I'll do it. But I've got this mini list that I work on. All right, Jeannie said there's a potter in Maine that I like. I bought a whole set from an antique shop and then discovered they formerly belonged to someone that we knew well. Isn't that interesting? Lizzie said, I fill up my sketchbooks with doodles. It's my version of journaling. Yes, but you're getting peaceful in doing it. And Jody says, when you journal regularly, it's so interesting to go back and reread everything. And it seems to all make so much more sense after the time has passed. I can remember teaching Yvonne to get stuff out of her mind and write it down. And, one of the things that I said to her, 5 years from now, you will reread this and be amazed that it worried you that much. And also 5 years from now, it will make sense why you were going through that stuff at the time, right? It was part of your learning so you could take the next step. I kept saying after the fire, okay, what did you need me to learn? I guess I realized that I could live with very little. in a much smaller space, but I didn't necessarily enjoy it. That's what I learned. And also that I made 100% the right decision to buy the place that I did that had so much light and space, because light and space apparently are very important to me. The other thing, having the space, I've got 1,200 square feet here, I think. Having that space makes me walk more. And by the way, it always makes me laugh because I've got a guest bathroom halfway down the house. I never use it. When I need to go to the washroom, I go all the way to the back of the house and use my bathroom, as I call it. And that means I put in quite a few steps every day just going there. Now, people will say to me, why don't you use the one that's closer? No, that's part of my exercise program, is to go there and use that. So, you look at it and go, it is really important. It might not be the best investment I ever made, all right, but it is an investment in me. For while I can still do things that I enjoy, like putter in the garden and, have that space. And any minute now, the whole of this community is going to be able to wake up and entertain again. And, we're going to be having another get together pretty soon. So, it's all about, I think, going to be a fun time. And I gave myself permission not to do too much in the garden this year, even though I had wanted a beautiful garden by this year. But, a fire got in the way. Sakura saying, thank you so much. That helped make sense. What was that? About the 5 years later thing, Bernice? It's very important to realize that, if you think about it, I think Jodi's story is very relevant to that. That Jodi started doing things like intermittent fasting, where you don't eat for 12 hours and then you only eat for the next 8. And then she went, okay, can I do 16 hours? No, 12 and 12 it would be, sorry. But then she went to 16 hours and then only 8 for 8. And then she learned to do more than that. And she got herself up that she could actually do fast for 3 days. Now, at the time, she didn't realize she was going to have surgery that would require her to eat nothing but protein meals, protein shakes. But she did all the steps ready for it. Jodi's saying it was my first step of my journey and I didn't know it until 2 years later. Yes, but somewhere, and that's what I think is so fascinating sometimes, that somewhere you heard a voice that said, you need to do this. By the way, you didn't have to. You weren't told medically that you had to do it. You wanted to do it. It sounded like a good idea. And so part of what I want to encourage you to do is listen to that voice in your head. Because sometimes that voice in your head will lead you into a direction that you have no idea you actually are going in. Right? I stood there yesterday and looked at my craft room and went, I want to get things plugged in now. And just because I'd like to know it is ready, I would like to hook up my die cutting machine and just make something work so I can start on Christmas present and cards and things. It's just like, I would like to do that. Just know that it's turned on and works. That would be a major step forward. But first it needs to be tidied up and then I can turn it all on. If I've got the leads. Oh, talking about that. Do any of you have rather a lot of computer leads? I accidentally came up with the greatest idea for them. I got so fed up of, turning them into nice little things like this and they took up so much space because I've got so many of them. Do any of you relate to that? And then the next thing is, when you want to find the ones that fit, you're busy dealing with all of these. You've got to take them all out and find out which one fits. Here's what I did. I hooked them all onto a wire coat hanger, and all the ends that I need are together like that. So now when I have something and I go, I wonder what lead I want, I can try all of these without moving anything. I just keep trying until one of them fits, and I go, okay, that's the one I need. And even better, I can hang it up. It's on a coat hanger. So I can hang it up, and all it takes up is this space in a closet. What do you think? I cannot tell you how much time it saves. And it was just like, oh, and I literally just have got an elastic band around them. That's what I've done. But literally, I just sit there and go, okay, that's not it. Oh, that could be it. Try that. Oh, that works. And then I just pull it out and see which one's moving. And it's way cool. And it saves the wires from bending and breaking. Yes, Bernice. Okay. And it takes up next to no room at all. Tell you. When I have finished unpacking everything, I'm going to start doing a whole new series with you, with your permission. I am going to start literally, bringing out things like one drawer and putting it all out here for you. And then we'll talk about, how many things do I use once a year that are in my regular drawer, right? I know you only use it once a year. Why am I using that space up? And I want to do that with clothes, with all the stuff in my kitchen. I'm trying to learn to minimize my life. And so that's really, however, on the other side, heads up again, people. Be prepared, not scared, all right? Please start stocking up again with things like paper products and stuff in case we get a third wave in the fall. So when you can, if you can, buy some bulk quantities of toilet paper, facial tissue. I just bought, as you know, a big box of paper towel. Think about that. And also, I'm going to stop stocking up some things in my pantry. Why? I've got more food in my house right now than I probably can eat. But on the other hand, I do need to continue to buy meat, even though I might not be eating it as much, because the price is going to continue to go up. Yes, Judy's saying even one extra item a week is helpful. Yes, if you can only afford to buy, one extra toilet roll, do it, right? You're going to be grateful. Sort of, I have this system, as I think some of you know. On things that I use in my kitchen, I want to make sure I'm using this one. I've got an air. That means the next one up. And if possible, a spare. Now, I must admit, in some things, I've got much more than that. But I would encourage you to think about the things you use every day. If there became a shortage or the price escalated, what would you be glad to have bought? Give me some ideas of what look at the things you use every day but can last. I have got enough dishwashing soap to last me probably a year or two, probably two. And what I do is if I see dishwashing soap on sale, I'll buy some. even though I know I've already got plenty. Yes, I definitely failed on the Tylenol thing, right? I forgot to get extra Tylenol. I have got up there, no, you can't see it. Up there, I have got I've got 3, 4, I think I've got 5 tubs of coffee. But every time I see coffee on sale, I buy an extra one. You know, when I think the price is good, I will buy it, even though I've got some. Why? Coffee is going to be like gold dusted. It's going to be very expensive. So to me, and not only that, I think you all know that I mix mine. I buy what I call the generic coffees, but I add good quality coffee to it. Jeannie's going, coffee, cleaning supplies, toilet paper, large size jams. Yes, and if you have got a big freezer, you know, think about what you can put in the freezer. I've got flour in my freezer. Jodi's saying her favorite coffee doubled in price within 2 months. Yes. You know what absolutely horrifies me? Lizzie, I don't know whether this is the same over your way, but boy, I went to buy beef. First of all, the beef I wanted ran out, and then the price absolutely escalated. Yeah, Lizzie's saying, you know, she actually started buying President's Choice brand coffee. You know, Lizzie, what I do is I buy that on the one side, and I'll buy some good Starbucks stuff, and I will mix it in. And it ends up being a really nice tasting coffee. It doesn't taste like cheap coffee at all. So think about that. The other thing is, you know, watch for deals. Now, I actually bought a pack of Mexican coffee. Smells so good. Why? They had an incredible deal on it. And normally, you know, I have my reusable pods that I put in my coffee, my Keurig, but this was at a really nice price, and it was Mexican coffee, strong. And I went, oh, that'll be great for the mornings. So I treated myself to some of that. Lizzie, I want to tell you, I started doing that, mixing the you know, I will buy you know, literally a cheap can of coffee, and then I'll sort of go 2 to 1, two whatever's of the cheap and 1 of the expensive. Mexican coffee is delicious, I know. And that's why when I saw that they had a deal on it, and it was like 3 packs like this. By the way, just before I go, did you know that when these bags say compostable bag, it isn't? It's only, you know, you don't put it in your own compost. Yes, Jodi's now learned to mix Maxwell House with Seattle's Best. It's amazing, isn't it? It doesn't taste like cheap coffee. I buy a lot of Folgers, the dark roast Folgers, when it goes on sale, and mix it with, which one? Oh, yeah, that's the one. Oh, and I've even got some President's Choice one there. All right, I mix it with Starbucks Pike Place because I like that. So think about it's an amazing way to make your coffee. You can't tell the difference. I told you, Jodi. You got to listen to me occasionally, which I know you do. And so I'm hoping that you found something of value to you for you in the broadcast. Let me know, what was it that was of value for you this week? What is it that you heard and went, yep, I need to do that? How many of you know that writing a goal down and just working towards it, even if it takes you the rest of your life, but just working towards it? It's not once a year that you do it on New Year's Eve. It is look at every corner of your life. For those of you who are journal people, I'm a great believer in writing, having one journal with your goals, and just having one goal at the top of each page. And just keep trying to take at least one step in the right direction every month. And then if you can, take one step every week. It makes sense. And it's just like, just so you can go through it every now and then and go, oh, I've been doing that. Right. And Bernice is saying it helped her to remember to listen to the voice inside and to follow her instincts. Jody's saying she loved hearing about the 5K journey. That is precious stuff, reinforcing positive habits. But also remember that the reward was not finishing. The reward was the journey. Oh, and Judy's saying, know that I pray for the Dear Mama Sal family nightly. Thank you for that, Jeannie. And we all pray for you and that you will have... But what is the recovery time after this operation for you? Did they give you some idea? Will you be incapacitated at all? Or is this going to be microsurgery? Do they go in and zap the kidney stones with a laser or something? Enjoy your lunch. Okay, it'll take about a month for you to recover. Well, and so what is your plan? Because it's going to be about the same time as you get to move back home. So what is your plan to not do too much when you move back into your home? That would be the most difficult thing for you, I would think, is to be in recovery from that and also move back in. There's part of me... Oh, you're saying you don't even know when we shall move. Yes, I think there's part of me, and you'll forgive me for this, that hopes that you will not have moved until after you are ready to do that. In a way, that would be helpful to you, to stay where you are, where it's settled, and you haven't got to move things around or anything. But I obviously wish you to be home and happy in your new home. But I want to tell you, living with those boxes, I don't see you not emptying them. It's not who you are. Are you going to have help emptying the boxes? Is that part of your insurance? By the way, I could actually have people come in and help me finish the last lot of the boxes, but yeah, I'll see. So, guys, I am delighted that we've all here again for another week of this. I am also aware that we all have a lot of feelings going on over a lot of things. And perhaps the most difficult one is going to be going back to our normal lives. If you think about that, going back to the new normal might be the most difficult thing we do this year. When we have to pack up the courage to go back to shopping again, the way that maybe we used to. I personally don't think I will. Which will be very sad for a lot of retailers. But I really find that I don't think I'll be going back shopping a lot. I've got out of that habit. So life is going to be a little different again. And the greatest gift we can give ourselves is the ability to be able to handle change. And change is coming at us very fast these days. So I wish you all a wonderful afternoon. I am going to grab some food myself and then get ready for this evening's broadcast. This is Dear Mama Sal saying, look after one another. Yes, Jody's saying we're keeping a lot of the habits we began during the pandemic. I don't think you're alone, Jody. I think, I'm going to keep up my exercise. I'm going to keep up being, a little quieter than I was before. So all of you, a big hug. Look after one another, but most of all, please remember to look after yourselves. And I saw a really nice quote this week that said, if you don't take time to look after your health, you will need to take time to look after your illness. This is Dear Mama Sal saying bye-bye for now.